Well, you lived there until you were, what, 13 or 14? What, 13 when we moved?
This is on the back porch at 517 and I got up on the second story and shooting down on
Later on, Marilyn has, we see Marilyn with a nice big head of hair, but at this point I just couldn't wait for some hair to come out that I could put a ribbon in her hair.
What happened?
How come it stopped?
How stopped? Who pressed the button?
The music is still going. It's just still.
There it comes.
Oh, it's made that.
He must have done that.
Oh, he must have.
He stopped to get a good look at the baby.
Boy, you were bald, Marilyn.
Yeah, she was. And
Holy
boy,
smokes.
when she got so she had hair, I don't think we had a picture of her that didn't have a big ribbon in
You
her
know,
head.
Marilyn, in your life, you got a lot of life ahead because you got to go the whole cycle before you die.
Go back to losing the hair?
Yeah.
To losing the hair, yeah.
Those were the cutest little shoes. They were like a white doe leather with white fur, real fur.
You can see what a problem she was.
Katie was born with hair.
Oh, some kids are born with a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Jacob had quite a bit of hair, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
Gwen and Wendell's
Oh,
baby
no.
had the most hair of any.
I've seen some, but it doesn't look right though to see that hanging down on their shoulders like some. They can go from one extreme to the other.
I had a cut finger, and Ma put a patch on it, and boy, does that thing show up
Yeah.
in that picture.
That was a big deal when Marilyn got so she could sit up in the high chair, have her meals right on the tray.
Just a little bit. We can hear it too loud on the tape.
I can remember that high chair. Kathy used that too. Huh?
No.
Did she?
Uh-uh.
Oh?
I gave it to Aunt Arlene to use.
Oh.
Oh, that's the one that somebody.
That's it. Oh, there's my father.
There's Eddie.
That's your great grandfather.
There's me and there's my mom.
There's Grandma. Do you know that 20 years ago yesterday she died?
Yeah.
That's
What?
your father, Grandma?
Yes,
Yeah.
my father.
Grandma States. 20
I mean,
years
Grandma
ago
was.
yesterday?
Mhm.
Grandma died. I can't believe it.
Dad said it can't be 20 years, and I said, well, it is.
I thought a lot of Eddie. He was
Well,
a
I
great
can't
guy.
believe that either.
A woman told, a friend of mine told her one time after Kathy was born, she said, as long as Kathy lives, you're going to be alive because she's a picture of you. Do you think so? Do you think you look a lot like my mother?
Yeah.
That was a friend of Ma's that
Just
told her
before
that.
Eddie died, we went out to Northgate.
Huh?
And we were out to Northgate, and Grandma and Ma went in the store, and Ed told me, he said, I don't know what the future holds for me. And he said, but I want you to take care of Ma. And I didn't think nothing of it, you know. I said, well, you know, I'd do anything I could for you, for Ma, you know. And short time after that, he died.
Would he die?
Well,
Heart attack, wasn't it?
sort of a heart attack.
Bleeding.
He had
Bleeding
internal
inside.
bleeding.
They never did find out what it was.
I think
Oh, here we are back
this is
down
back down
to Grandma Estates in Elwood, Illinois.
when we made the four generation
In the
picture.
fourth generation, we got together with the four groups. And here's my dad, and there's Grandma, and myself, and Marilyn, the four generations.
Where was this at?
In Elwood.
That was her
That big
home.
house flew over.
Yeah. Where did your dad live at that time?
Naperville.
He lived in Naples?
Naperville.
We lived in Naperville.
What do you mean you?
Well, we didn't live in Naperville.
Where did I live?
We lived in.
Oh, Jolie, or in Aurora.
We lived in Aurora, but your
Yeah.
dad lived
Dad lived
in
in
the house
Naperville.
out on Plank Road.
Yeah, Grandma owned that big house that we fly over.
That house
Boy, that
was-
a big
Where
house.
was this?
Elwood.
Elwood.
That house, when the people,
South
she
Dakota,
went to
yeah.
California, that house was broke up into 2 buildings, and they moved half of it to another part of the lot.
Yeah. They got 2
It
houses
was such
there.
a big house.
Because they broke the house in half, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah, they did
Uh-huh.
after Grandma died.
it was a huge old house she had.
She lived in there all by herself, though?
Yeah, but she didn't
Yeah.
use it all.
What'd she do with the rest of it?
Well, there was one section that
She closed up in the wintertime. In the
when her
summertime, she
father-
Look
closed
happy
up.
there, Marilyn.
Huh?
You did not look happy there.
No, she don't like.
Yeah.
I think she's cutting teeth there. She's
Yeah, she was cutting teeth.
sort of
I remember
grinding
that.
away on her.
Boy, you
teeth.
remember that nice radio we got? Zenith? Oh, man.
Graham Estates had a stepfather that lived in a part of the lower part of the house that she let him have. He had his own little part. But the upper part, well, when Elmer and I were first married, we'd go down and visit her and stay over a night for the weekend. And then we had a room upstairs that was kind of reserved for us.
Wow.
And then she had a front part of the house upstairs that I don't know what she used it for. I don't think I was ever up there.
I was up there, but
Kind of storage.
yeah, storage.
Well, almost like a mansion?
Just like an old mansion.
In the part where she was, she had it all carpeted. And in those days, not too many people had carpeting all over. Most people had rugs and hardwood floor around,
Yeah.
you know, the outside. And she had her home all carpeted, the part she used.
See, John, Grandpa states, my grandfather retired early in life because he had
Her husband?
her husband. He had heart problems develop, and he had a little money. He owned a farm, and so he had my dad and mother run the farm. And he went in and he bought this big home in Elwood, and he had money. And they moved to town, and they hadn't got moved yet. They were in the process of moving, as I understand it. And Ma and Dad were taking over the farm, and he was moving. He went up to get the mail, and go a half a mile to get the mail from this farm. And he come back, and he couldn't get his breath. And he sat down, and he died right there.
When was that?
Well, it was around April of 1912, and I was born in June 22nd. And Grandma felt so bad because, and my mother felt so bad because Grandpa said,
He wanted to see his first grandchild.
yeah,
So he never got to see any of his grandchildren.
yeah, that's
Starting to
right.
get a little hair there, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least I got some color on my head. Before I
Yeah.
looked like,
You-
what's his name?
You'll laugh at the rest of the
Bojack?
pictures if there's
Yeah.
any picture after you got hair. There was always the ribbon.
What's the story about that little wagon that you told before? About when you went to the doctor?
Oh,
Oh,
well,
that's coming up, isn't it?
Marilyn was over a year old, and I took her into the doctor, and I said, you know, I walked when I was 9 months old, and my folks think that Marilyn should be walking. They're trying to figure out why she isn't walking. And so he was an old-fashioned doctor, and he sat and visited. Finally, he got it out of me
Here we are in
that
Lake Geneva.
she was going around on this little walker that I had got for her.
The one they just showed, right?
And it's going to be coming up here, and she was scooting all over the house with that. So when I told him that, he said, well, if you're going to provide her with transportation, he said, I don't know when she's going to walk.